Hey everybody, here we go. This is probably one of the most important sessions. If you are a top agent, if you have been struggling with creating consistency in your marketing, and if you know that if we could just get more marketing, more social, more email, more postcards out into your marketplace, if you know that is going to take you to the next level, then this is the most important session. So we've got Tim from Great Assistant who's been talking to us about how to hire a virtual assistant in North America. Their process is to vet, 50 to 100 resumes, find the right personality type, someone who's an organizer, someone who doesn't want to be front facing, someone who just wants to take all of your mess and get it cleaned up and put it into a system. That's all that they want to do. And they run them through the skills test to make sure they have all the skills. Most likely a college grad coming out of corporate America, and they're right here in North America. So they're amazing. And all we need to do now is give them something to do so that they can make you money within the first 90 days. So I already have exactly what this great assistant is going to do for you, and I will give that to you. So stay tuned. So let's jump in with Tim and let's talk to him about, kind of what his vision of a great assistant and how they could help an entrepreneur or real estate agent with getting their marketing system optimized and pumping, baby, because that's what I know we all want. Okay, that's what I want. So Tim, thank you so much for, more of your generous time. And let's dive in on this hot topic of marketing assistants.
Yeah, thanks for the pleasure and the privilege to be here. Always a pleasure.
Yes.
So I think what a lot of people don't know is that I actually, when I got my first ever great assistant, I had already failed 4 or 5 times with overseas assistants. It was incredibly frustrating dealing with people in a radically different time zone, oftentimes very different culture, different first language. And what a lot of people also don't know is that I didn't, like the business I had at the time of getting my first ever North American great assistant was actually a marketing agency.
Right.
Yeah. And I had a handful of different clients. I had some real estate investors as clients. I had builders as clients, like people putting up, 88 unit buildings. And so like we're doing lead gen at a pretty, big volume. We're spending tens of thousands of dollars on Google ads before Google ads became the massive monstrosity it is today. So just think about that. We were doing innovative, cool things where we would test an ad on Google and see which image would get the most clicks. And that would inform the billboards that I would help get for the client, which is a traditional marketing. So we're doing just really cool stuff. And yet here's one of the craziest things, even from someone who owned a digital marketing agency. So 2 things. Number one, I got intimately connected to what can be handed off to an assistant and what cannot. I've spent a lot of money on a lot of different advertising, and I know what works and what doesn't, and specifically what an assistant can help with and can't help with. And we're going to talk about that today. We're also another huge insight, and I'll even say this is kind of like a big picture, like a North Star of sorts, is that a lot of entrepreneurs, their greatest roadblock when it comes to using an assistant around marketing actually has nothing to do with marketing. It has everything to do with control and trust. And we're going to talk about that as well today. And I also think that I read this quote once. This is the third piece. And there's not much more to say about this aside from just the quote. It knocked me on my backside. It said oftentimes it's not it's not the things that we don't know how to do that bites us in the butt. It's when we don't do the things we do know how to do. Mm-hmm. And I just think about in my own career, how many times I would learn how to get clients for any of my businesses. And I would start doing a live event, let's say, for example, to attract people in, like a barbecue or some kind of like an educational seminar or whatever. And after the second or third time, it actually would start working. I would actually start getting clients from it. But what would happen is I would go to a workshop and I'd find out about podcasting, or I'd find out about, using Google ads or using, write a book or something else. And I'd be like, oh, that's the thing. So then I would start doing that. But Patrick, you can predict what would happen. I would stop doing the thing that was working because I was chasing the new thing. And so perpetually, it's like I'd have a spike in success and then a dip, and then a spike in success and a dip. And it was just like, oh my goodness, this is like Groundhog Day. So what I quickly realized after, so, I've got this marketing agency and I've finally got this great assistant from North America. What I quickly realized is, whoa, hold on. I need to build one vending machine that brings me clients. And then I need to replace myself from that vending machine by installing the right kind of assistant. And the assistant can run the vending machine, and using a tool we talked about, or a perspective from one of our earlier sessions, Patrick, is surgeon in the room, right? So we want you, the agent, focused just on only the things you can do, like high level skill, like negotiating, high level access, like face-to-face time with your clients, and then strategy. Where are we taking this business? How many deals are we hoping to do? Getting coaching from you, Patrick, right? These are things only the agent can do. And we need to get the agent in building the vending machine with your guidance, then replacing with an assistant from our company. And then after that, extract and come back to Patrick. What's the next vending machine? Exactly. If postcards was the first strategy, then what's the next strategy? It's social media. Great. Let's get that up and running. Then what's the next vending machine? Because here's the thing. If we've got 10 vending machines sitting around that are all somewhere between 20% and 98% built, none of them make money. None of them make money. A vending machine has to be 100% built before we can put it, at the fitness center or whatever to start cranking revenue for us. So there's an important missing link, and that is who's going to do the not so fun rinse, wash, repeat work. At least it's not fun for agents and for those of us who are leading our businesses, because we want to be with clients. We want to be doing the bright, shiny stuff. Believe it or not, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people in North America right now that do not want to do the bright, shiny client-facing stuff. They get so much satisfaction from being kind of studious, project manager type of minds. I think of them actually as marketing coordinators. They don't even need to have marketing skill ahead of time, because it's very easy to learn how to use Facebook, for goodness sakes, for like posting content. What they need is that aptitude for rinse, wash, repeat, coordinating content, making sure all the trains are running on time in our marketing, and actually also in our selling, and actually also in our production. That person partnered up with a powerhouse agent that's got a great personality, loves being with people, all the rest. Like, it's the 1-2 punch that brings it all together.
Yeah, 100%. And, as I'm listening to you, I'm just thinking about all of the conversations I had today with so many amazing real estate agents, and all of their lead gen and marketing is just at halt. It's all stopped right now. And it's because it falls onto them to get it done. And it's like, if we just had a person who this is what they're responsible for, they'll go find the content. There's been a company, Tim, called Keeping Current Matters. They're literally publishing content for us to share into our social, images, charts, quotes, all this incredibly valuable, high-level real estate economic information. They're like, here's just a slew of amazing content. But most agents right now, if they set it on kind of an auto, it's not going well. And the best ones are really taking it, organizing it, putting it into the week, putting it on all the channels, and pumping it out. And that we need an organizer to take that project over and to just get it in motion. And so it's just like, as you're saying all that, I'm just like, like we all need one so bad. Okay. So I've got, the project number one, everybody, that the first thing that you're going to have your virtual assistant do to help you get your whole entire online presence organized and to be able to get 2 and 3 sales within the first 90 days. I already got that out of the way. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Tim, any best practices, best advice to some of my insecure agents who are kind of like, I need one, but right? Because, and would you say something like the biggest, what is that thing you were saying? Something, the number one control and trust? Can you debrief that real fast?
Yeah, you bet. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here in 3, 2, and 1, because we actually did a study around this 4 or 5 years ago now, where we asked 149 entrepreneurs across a wide range of different industries. And we said, what is your number one greatest challenge or concern with getting a great assistant? Number one, what's your number one challenge or concern with getting a great assistant? Of all the responses we got, 149 responses, 98.7% of entrepreneurs, it didn't matter the industry, had one or many of these big 6 concerns. The number one, as you can see on the screen, number one, far and away, is I don't know how to trust someone, or said differently, I don't know how to release control to an assistant. It terrifies the heck out of me. The second concern was, I don't know what to pay them or how to make them profitable. The third is, I don't want to take the time to train them. Fourth is, I don't want to take the time to manage them. The 5 is, I don't know where to find them. 6 is, I don't know what to delegate. So, we've actually handled a number of these concerns in our previous sessions. So I encourage agents watching this to go back and watch Patrick's and I previous sessions. So let's really hone in though on the 80-20, the 80-20, the 80-20. This trust and control one, I'm telling you, it was like 50% said trust and control, and the other 50% were distributed across the other 5. It was astounding to me. I would not have been able to predict that in a million years, that it would be that dramatic. So what do we do about it?
I think that makes sense to me. I think, and everybody who sees that can relate to that. But it really wouldn't have been my number one. But yeah,
right.
It makes perfect sense.
It makes so much sense. It really does. And so I think my first message for everyone watching is, if you feel terrified about handing off tasks to an assistant, you're not alone. In fact, you are in the vast majority of all the entrepreneurs in any business, in any geography, anywhere on the planet. Like, you are in very good company, very good company. And I myself used to be terrified about the idea of delegating to an assistant. Now, I will also say that overcoming that fear has been the single greatest source of freedom and finance that I've experienced in my entire entrepreneur career. And I don't mean to scare anyone with this, but like, I've literally handed off my email inbox to my assistant, and my assistant answers, like, I only read, write, and respond to fewer than 10 emails per week.
Wow.
And so that gives me time to be here with Patrick. That gives me time to attend training. That gives me time to spend FaceTime with high-paying clients. Like, all of it. You can't do that if you're stuck in your email inbox, buried in your laptop. You just can't do it. So we got to free up your time. And
that's just to touch on that, Tim. I found, especially as real estate agents, the better the realtor, the better the actual technical real estate agent, the more they put a lot of attention into the details with their client interaction. And that they actually, it's kind of like, it's their pride of, this is how high the quality of my service is to my agent. And so it's actually becomes that pride that then gets in the way of them making that next step. So it's like a double whammy for the entrepreneur in real estate, is that a high level of attention to detail. This is how I do it. And I do it very specifically, and I do it perfect every time, is the thing that stops them from getting to the next level. It's this funny little thing.
So here's the funniest part of all. That's actually the polar opposite of what's actually true. Okay, this is why. Prior to me having a great assistant, what was my response time to my clients? It was like sometimes 3 days, because I was so crushed with email, because I had to do it all myself, that I couldn't get back to clients in a timely fashion anymore.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Now clients generally and almost always are getting like within 8-hour reply. I mean, within business hours, like within 1 day. What's the better service? Right. Now, how about this? The bigger your business gets, the more concurrent deals you've got going on, deals you're dealing with at the same time, right? If you've only got 1 or 2 clients at any given time, you can remember the details in your head, right? Okay, when you've got 10, 12 deals on the go, maybe you've even got a junior working underneath you, they've got questions, you literally cannot hold all the details in your head. You roll up to a property and you're like, is this the Jones or the Smiths? Which lender were they with? Do we have comps for this? Geez, I hope I don't look unprofessional if I forget the kid's name. You know what I mean? Like, right? That used to be my reality when my business was growing and I was meeting with clients. Now my assistant prepares me for every single meeting that I have with clients. And I have a complete page that's just, this is the client, this is where they're from, this is the rapport pieces you have with them, blah, 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 blah. I scroll that for 60 seconds at most, and bingo, I remember exactly where I am on that project. That client gets my full elite, high-performing attention. I communicate back to the assistant afterwards, after I'm done with the client, what the next actions are, updating the file or whatever. And you know what I do? It closes in my brain. Denise, my great assistant, updates things. I'm on to the next client, next surgery room, next. And what do? Scroll for 60 seconds. Bang. Now I know who I'm talking to, what the deal is, what are the core issues, what's the bottlenecks in this deal. Let's go. Right. And so it's surgery room after surgery room after surgery room. And I'm only the surgeon in each of these rooms. I'm not the janitor. I'm not the nurse. I'm not doing the billing, none of it. And that's what's possible when you take the team approach. There's an expression that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's an ancient African proverb.
Exactly. All right, so let's drill it back over here on the marketing side of just a couple things, right? So is there anything else you want to share, best practices with allowing someone to take over this marketing, gaining that trust, kind of bridging that gap? Is there any kind of best advice in that area before I share with them kind of what home run number one is that's going to pay for your great assistant for the next 10 years?
I love that. Okay. I think everything in business and in life has a degree of risk management. There's just like the person that you date or marry, deciding to have kids or not, where you're going to open your brokerage, like all of it, or your practice, getting your license even has risk, like all of it. So I would never ask anyone to try and take a motorcycle and jump the Grand Canyon. I'm never going to ask you to do that, right? And so much of life is how do we take what feels like the Grand Canyon and how do we manage the risks so it feels like a crack in a sidewalk, right? You might still stub your toe, you might still fall, it's still possible, things couldn't go well, and you might skin your knee a little bit, but it's not a mortal risk where you're going to kill yourself by plummeting down into the Grand Canyon, okay? So what are some activities, like what can we do to reduce the risk? Okay, so number one, I want to hire someone who's in a country that I understand the legal system enough that if I had to sue them or if I had to fly to them to go serve them papers or something like that, I could make that happen. Canada and the US, very similar systems. I mean, especially if we compare it to like Philippines, India, Pakistan, I wouldn't know, like, do I have to bribe people overseas? Do I know how to speak the language? Like, it's a radically different time zone. Like, I don't even know, like some of the streets and like, it's too different for me to be able to, if the stuff really hit the fan, do I really know how to navigate that world if I needed to like sue someone? Yeah. I don't. Okay. I do know how to do that in the US and Canada. So that's our risk management item number one, is get someone from a similar system to you. So if it really goes badly, you have recourse, right? And where signing a contract means the same thing to both parties, you and your assistant, because you're from similar cultures and mindsets and whatnot. Okay, so that's risk management number one. Risk management tip number two is I would not be delegating anything in the first 3 months that could in any way potentially jeopardize the business. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if there's going to be anything that might be a little gray zone, I am double checking everything before it goes out to the public or to the client or to the lender or to the whoever. Okay. So delegating only tasks that are not going to be fatal if misperformed. Right. I would focus on what I'm delegating. Thirdly, in the hiring process, I would do criminal record checks, and whatever background checks makes you feel comfortable that you're working with someone reputable, that there isn't some big glaring, like if you look at their criminal record check and they have like mortgage fraud 5 times, in 5 different states, you kind of want to catch that before you start giving them not just the keys to the kingdom, but even like the directions to your house. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So furthermore, I would be looking, I think agents and entrepreneurs of any industry look at far too few candidates. I would be looking at bare minimum 50 to 100 resumes to come down to 3 strong finalists, where you could almost hire any one of the 3 and then come up with your one winner. Because agents and entrepreneurs at large are not looking at enough resumes, you don't start seeing the contrast of who's good, who's bad, right? Okay, next tip.
Agreed.
Trial period. I would set up, and this is actually a two-way street. You and your assistant agree, we're gonna do a 30-day trial.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna see how this goes. I'm not wanting it to end, but if it did end for either reason, no hard feelings. We can go our separate ways and find other opportunities and other people to work with.
Yep.
Putting that 30-day trial in place, I think really removes a lot of the like, oh my God, what if it doesn't work out to hand off my email inbox? Well, don't hand off your email inbox, because if that's misperformed, it could sewer the business, you know? Secondly, that's not something that someone can learn in a week, you know? They got to get to know you, your customers, your products, all of it, right? So keep it simple. Let's do simple tasks for the first week. Let's do a 30-day trial, right? I really recommend we just keep it simple, get to know each other. There's other things we put in place, but it's those kinds of, that collection of simple practices that really reduces the temperature in the room and really allows us to say, okay, maybe I can't hand off my email inbox, but you know what? I can take the first step. I don't need to sprint. I can just take the first step, see how it feels, and just take this one step at a time.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect lead in to what I would say is the first task, right? And one of the things I actually love about what you guys do in your process is, you know, you guys help the you know, as you're going and looking at the 50 to 100 resumes to deliver to the entrepreneur to give them the top 3, inside of that 30 days, you guys are helping them to pick the best tasks, right? And so here is the one that's going to get you guys income that's also very low risk. And that is very simple. Is right now, all of us agents have a huge problem. There's a lot of online profiles out there in the world. And some of them have some of our content in there. Some of them have the right phone number and email in there. And a lot of those profiles get a lot of attention. And what's happening right now is the profile list is getting way too long. Okay, so we need to actually get someone like a great assistant and literally have them go organize all of the content on all of the different online profiles, and I have the list. So here's the list. We just need to go get to work on this. This would allow the virtual assistant to have access to your bio, to have access to your phone number, your website, and to learn about all your social media, and take all your social media links and find all your content, find all your best videos, and to start organizing all of your existing content on all of the existing profiles. And I just got off the phone today, Tim, with a gal, and she was like, well, let me get to number 2. Then we have a whole list of what are called referral sites. So we need to make sure that all of our bios and all these referral sites are set up. Because right now there's a ton of online marketing companies who are doing a bunch of online marketing. And if an agent has a profile on their site, they'll send them the lead for a referral fee. And so one of the clients this morning that I talked to is definitely going to be talking to you guys. She was like, I signed up on one of the 5 sites that your brother told me to sign up on, and I've already closed 3 deals year to date. So just imagine if all of our online profiles were actually robust, completed with links and with the video, with our content. A, we're more discoverable. B, when they Google us, the right stuff shows up to the top. And then all of our social media is dialed in. Then all of the referral sites are all completed. All of your sales are updated. So all those maps of all the amazing things you've been accomplished, all the links are all set up. Just from those 2 things alone, I promise every agent, you'll get at least 2 to 3 sales within 90 days once you are completely dialed in online. Now, if that isn't a great first start to a relationship with a marketing coordinator, I don't know what is, right? I don't know what else. And I have the list, you guys. I will send you, I have a checklist. I have the presentation notes that our great marketing coordinator at Tom Ferry, Jason Pantana, did at the Pivot. I have his entire presentation and the checklist and all of his notes. So for those of you guys that want that, here you go. Boom, you're going to be making money right from the get-go. Now you're set up. That relationship is set up. All of your online presence is done. They've got your Google My Business dialed in, all your social media, all of the, your referral sites, everything is pretty much optimized. Now you guys can get to work. Now you can go start creating the content calendars, right? And start kind of and they already have everything dialed in. So now it's, what are we doing on LinkedIn? What are we doing on Google My Business? What are we doing on Facebook? What are we doing on YouTube? What are we doing on our website? What are we doing on this? And it's just organized and go. And, in 2021, I would love it if all of my friends had more online marketing happening than any other agent in their marketplace, just dominating the show. Hello, this is amazing, guys. Let's get after this. Okay, so I've got that. Let me know if you need that. So I will say one thing, that you need to book an appointment with the Great Assistant team, and you need to go through their little consultation process, right? They're not going to just, take your credit card tomorrow and get you a virtual assistant. They want to make sure that you're 100% A, the right customer, and B, that you have the right expectations about how this thing goes. So Tim, anything to add to that, in this conversation of part-time marketing assistant, right? Leveraging a virtual assistant.
Yeah, a few things. So number one, I think that our team has been really strong at finding great talent that has the right wiring. Mm-hmm. And a lot of marketing support, sales support, admin support is less dependent on someone having deep experience in any of those fields. And it's more about having the organizer type mindset. And we can bring those people to the table. And what I love about what you've just described, Patrick, is we can take the Great Assistant and take your system around marketing and what Jason's put together and whatnot. And if we put those two together, now we have the horsepower and the direction. We've got the map and the plan, and we've got the capacity to be able to go and do it again and again and again. And so I just really want to emphasize that I think if, as the agent, you understand what's going on, you understand the strategy, you understand where the training is, like, you're still going to be responsible to connect your assistant to the right training. And if you're willing to do that, the amount of leverage you can get, because Jason and Patrick and Tom have already created the roadmap. We just got to put the car on the road now. I think that's really powerful. So
yeah, we refer to it as R&D, rip off and duplicate. It's just R&D. So inside of our community, Tim, they're just, hey, I did this amazing post. Hey, here's this amazing resource. Here's this amazing postcard. Here's an example of a video that I did. So there's just we're basically just providing so much, just rip off and duplicate this. And so a lot of us are overwhelmed by that. We see the opportunity every day. We're almost numb to it because there's so much great access to great content to go leverage. What we're all missing is, you're right, is we're just missing that engine that can just go access it, get it approved, put it in the content calendar, and get it pushed out, and do that over and over and over again until you have more marketing happening per day than you did, in all last month.
Sounds like we could add an A to the end. We've got rip off, duplicate, and accelerate.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's great. So yeah, I think I just really encourage everyone to. I get that it can be scary. It can be scary to hand off, to trust, to release control. And I think I'd also invite you to think about how you've already faced many fears on your career as an agent already. And every time you took that step, your business grew, you personally grew, your satisfaction grew, maybe even your freedom grew, the impact you got to make grew as well. Like at some point you were probably afraid of negotiating, right? At some point you were probably afraid of meeting clients for the first time or doing your first walkthrough or any of it. And you know what? That's just part of the magic of life, right? Is facing those fears, and taking action anyways in a responsible way. You know, we're not, again, we're looking to step over the sidewalk crack, not jump the Grand Canyon here.
Yeah. And I think that is I think what this is why I'm so strong in my recommendation, is because what you guys have done is you've eliminated a lot of the risk, right, that we face in the going and finding our part-time marketing assistant. Everybody knows it's no, like in the industry, it is crystal clear. A part-time marketing assistant is the roadmap to the next level. It's on the list. Like everybody knows it's there. And actually, why I'm so passionate is because you guys removed all that risk for us to make it easy, right? We literally, and my job finding, giving them that first step is another way. Just, hey, let's mitigate the risk. So even if 90 days from now you got rid of them, you'd be making money for the next year because of that first 90 days. No
That's a really, really cool
no
plan.
question about it. All right, man.
Wow.
Hey, thank you so much for your time. This was awesome. And I'm gonna have, and we will have you back on doing some more great stuff. And you guys are the best. I appreciate everything, all the work and intelligence that you put into what you're doing. Right? It's pretty clear your passion to support entrepreneurs to get to that next level in their wealth and their lifestyle, and obviously the quality of the service that they're offering. So it's pretty straightforward, right?
Thank you so much. And
Awesome.
If anyone wants a discovery call, it's greatassistant.com/Patrick Ferry. Greatassistant.com
Yeah.
/.
And I'll put that in the link for these guys and talk to everybody a little bit more about it. So thanks so much, man.
Thank you.